All right, here's a practice quiz for the direct and indirect object quiz that you will have today. Please notice in the directions that you first have to cross out every prepositional phrase. Then I want you to find the subject, and you're going to put that on the left area of the diagram. Then you're going to find all verbs or verb phrases, and they will go in the middle, and any direct objects or any indirect objects, if there are any, and they go over on the right. Please label direct and indirect objects with DO and IO so I know that you know the difference between the two. There may not be any direct or indirect objects. Finally, I want you to label the verbs either up in the sentence or down on your diagram as action verb, linking verb, and helping verb. So, to start, Josh planted potatoes in the garden outside his house. I would start by crossing out the prepositional phrase outside his house and in the garden, because the subject, the verb, the direct object, and the indirect object cannot be found in that sentence. Now I'm ready to identify the parts. My action verb, and I'm just going to identify it up here, is planted. If you wanted to put it here, that would be fine. And who planted? Josh. He's my subject. Because I have an action verb, I may have a direct or indirect object. I might have both, I might have neither. Let's ask ourselves, what did Josh plant? Potatoes. It receives the action. It got planted. The potatoes did. They are my direct object, which leaves me with nothing else, so I do not have an indirect object. For the next one, Mr. Razzo awarded Mr. Wilson the #1 teacher award. Okay, are there any prepositional phrases? No. What's my verb? My verb is awarded. It is an action verb. Who awarded? Mr. Razzo did. All right, since we have an action verb, maybe we have a direct object. What is it that he awarded him? Oh, he awarded the #1 teacher award. So we can skip #1 and teacher because they're just adjectives. He awarded him an award. That's what he awarded. It's the direct object. To whom did he award that award? To Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson is my indirect object. Notice that the indirect object comes before the direct object, if there is one. The next one, I saw the astronaut on television. Okay. My prepositional phrase is on television. My action verb is saw. Who saw? I saw. I is my subject. Let's see if there's a direct object after the action verb. I saw what? I saw an astronaut. That is my direct object. I don't have an indirect object. The next one, without any evidence, the jury did not convict the defendant. My prepositional phrase is without any evidence. My verb is did. It's a helping verb. Convict. Convict is an action verb. Together, yes, just so that you know, they are one verb phrase. What about this word not? Not is not a verb, ever. It's just an annoying adverb that sometimes gets in between helping verbs and action verbs. Let's find our subject. Who did not convict? The jury. There's our subject. And let's see if there's a direct object after this action verb. Who did they convict? They convicted the defendant. That is my direct object. All right, for the last one, Mr. Core showed us the lab in science class. Prepositional phrase, in science class. Verb, showed. It's an action verb. Who showed? Mr. Core showed. He's our subject. Action verb. All right, let's see if there's a direct object. What did Mr. Core show? He wasn't showing us. He wasn't like, here's my class. He was showing a lab to the class. So what was he showing? He was showing a lab. To whom was he showing it? To the class. Class is the indirect object.